Oh. All right, no glasses again. Don't worry about that. We're going to talk today about motherboards. Are they important? Are they not? Let's find out. All right, before we get onto this very tantalizing topic, don't forget to like the video if you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, link is down below to the merch store. Go get some hats, go get t-shirts. If I had socks, I'd have socks. I will be having some new merch out here in the next month or so do keep on the lookout for that. I am very much planning for it to be really nice. So motherboards are one of those things that not a lot of people think about sometimes. They give it a passing thought. They make sure it's on the right platform. They make sure it has a decent amount of USBs. And if you were me when you started, you make sure it has the I/O plate installed onto the motherboard directly, because it's more beginner friendly. Now, what is important on a motherboard? Not a lot of people will know this. It has features. USB 3.0, Gen 4 PCI 16 slots, Gen 4 NVMe slots. I think we're on Gen 4. Whatever gen we're on. They are actually important to understand what you have in your motherboard. Because the better your motherboard has in features, theoretically, your parts should communicate a little better. Because the motherboard is just the giant puzzle piece that helps everything connect to it. You slot your GPU, your CPU, your RAM, your storage, all of it into the motherboard. Motherboards can have a max amount of memory it can take. For instance, the motherboard I'm using, which is the ROG Crosshair 8 Dark Hero. It is a max of 128 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, and I'm currently running it at 3600 megahertz. Now, this is Crossfire and Sli capable. Crossfire and Sli is basically just two discrete, which means independent in this case, GPUs, and I can make them work together. Now, this isn't utilized as much anymore because most graphics cards on their own are so powerful you don't need two graphics cards anymore. So a lot of games aren't going to really use this aspect of gaming. Aspect of technology, not gaming, aspect of gaming. They have two M.2 slots, which I believe both mine are taken. M.2s are really nice. They're just a little chip you slide in. Honestly, motherboards that have M.2 slots are amazing to me. Not having to run another cable for storage makes it a little easier. It does, however, have 8 ports. At least that's what it says. I don't know for sure. I think it does. 8 ports for me to hook up hard drives or SATA drives to the motherboard, and these are all at 6 gigabytes, which is pretty good. That's how fast it can send and receive storage information from that drive and give it to the computer to process. There is also 2 different Ethernet speeds, 2.5 gig and gig. Now, this is pretty simple. Faster the gig for your Ethernet, the better your internet on your computer should run. That's also dependent on if you can saturate it enough. For instance, 2.5 gig, it does need to be saturated to that fullness for you to get that full 2.5 gig speed. If not, you won't reach it. However, it also could cause an issue. We could talk about this more later, so get subscribed if you want to see that. And also leave a comment down below if you want to talk to me about that, because it is kind of important. It does have the capability of onboard video. It just depends on the CPU slot in there. For instance, which means you need to put a Ryzen CPU, because this is AM4, with a G on the end. The G stands for graphics, because it has onboard graphics on it. So it does not need a graphics card because it has a graphics card chip in it. Comes with 2 USB 2 headers, a USB 3.2 header, Gen 1, another USB 3.2 Gen 2 header, and Wi-Fi 6. It also is RAID supported. Now, this is not an inexpensive board, my Crosshair 8 Dark Hero. This is a $450 board. So it should come with a lot of features. It should come with almost everything you need. There are probably a couple of more boards that are a little better than this now. This board is a couple of years old, and usually manufacturers like to keep updating their boards. There are other things that make a motherboard on a higher end a little better. Let me pull up the picture here and move over. All right, so right here and under these metal bars here and all across here, that's a heat sink. It's a passive heat sink to take heat from the motherboard and release it into the rest of the case, where you should have plenty of cooling with your fans. So these should never really get hot. You don't need to worry about these too much unless, well, there's a problem. Higher end motherboards have better cooling. Now let's go to a cheaper motherboard. Here, a B550. You see the difference yet? A lot more items are just out and about. So their cooling isn't as efficient. However, it still gets the job done if you have a decent amount of cooling from your fans. Another big difference is the layout of your fan headers or USB headers. They're not as intuitive sometimes. For instance, right here, here, here. And like as you go down, you can see more headers. But I'm not a fan of putting a header right here unless you're using the cooler header, which that's fine. On the ROG, 3 headers right here. Header right there, and another header here and here and here. So more fan headers. There are more fan headers. And honestly, having them grouped up like this and with the corresponding LED headers makes it really easy to figure out which fan attached to which header, especially if you're paying attention and you follow the directions on how they're numbered. Name something most gamers don't do. I'm included in that, so don't at me on that. Another difference you're going to notice is the amount of power going through this. The USB the ROG one here needs 12 connectors, while the MSI 550 here, the mini micro motherboard, needs 8. Less power, less features is a general term in this case. And also what you'll notice is it's not as flashy. Gamers do like to pay a little bit for style, and that is definitely a difference. This is a $100 board, and it'll be a great board to choose for a lower end build and also a smaller build. If you're doing a Wow, this has VGA. And actually, this is important. This has VGA. I don't know a lot of monitors still that use VGA, or a lot of gamers that use VGA, but some do. It does, however, have that flash BIOS button, which does mean there is a little bit of innovation here to make sure you have what you need. Comes with also a display port and an HDMI port, and 4 USB headers. That's okay amount of USB headers. Actually 6. Sorry, I missed those 2. Now it's good. Here's the thing though, when you have that many USB headers and it's a cheaper motherboard, you can start to hit what I would call the wall. So not every motherboard can process the same amount of information as quickly to send it from the USB to the RAM. Higher end motherboards generally are more capable of this and can process and throw it at the RAM in a much more streamlined manner, instead of just everybody getting backed up at the door and the motherboard only letting a little bit come in at a time. A good analogy for this would be like a nightclub. The motherboard is the doorman, the party is the RAM. And everybody trying to get in is the information that needs to get in. If your motherboard's not good at multitasking, it's not gonna go that quickly. Saying this, I do understand not everybody wants to shell out $400 for a motherboard, and you shouldn't. A good midline motherboard generally is around the 100 to 150 mark. It's still not cheap, but it's not, oh my god, expensive. A good motherboard to get if you're a beginner would be this Aorus B550 Elite V2, either the AX version or the non-AX version. They'll do the same thing. The AX version just has Wi-Fi on it, so if you want Wi-Fi without having to get like a little dongle thing, that'll do. Though the AX version also has, no, this has it too. These both have features that you need. Good cooling for the spots that need cooling on your motherboard. They look decently stylish. I have used this B550 Aorus Elite V2. It was in my first computer, which is currently at my brother's house. And it runs exceedingly well if you give it a decent amount of RAM. 16 gigabytes, still the sweet spot there. Well, everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel. Also, link is down below to the merch store. Go get some merch. If you guys enjoyed this video, go check out the other PC Basic playlist videos I have. It'll be in the link. It'll be on the screen here real quick. Also, do not forget, later on, I'm going to have a video on the on the SteelSeries Arctis Pro Nova. I just got it in the mail the other day and I have not set it up yet. So don't miss that. You will want to be subscribed. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and have a good day.